Hi, welcome to AFTV. It's now time for the player ratings. In the rain, bloody hell, it's all nice and hot inside now.
In there, we're taking our tops off. We're like, oh, it's too hot in here and stuff like that. And now it's raining. Welcome to England, right?
Yeah,
Trust me.
Right, let's get into this because I think there'll be some interesting ratings in this. Even though it was 1-0, there were some performances I think that stood out. So let's start with, a player we haven't said yet, David Raya.
David Raya didn't have nothing really to do, did he? I mean, he was very comfortable passing the ball out. He collected the ball very well. Like when they did hit balls into the air, he'd come and claim it very well. I thought it was a very accomplished performance by him for his first game, although he wasn't tested. To be fair, I mean, Everton put him under absolutely no pressure whatsoever because they just weren't ambitious enough in the game. So because of his debut, I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah, clean sheet as well.
Because it's clean sheet. Difficult place to come, physical. You gotta recognise that. But a very comfortable debut for him.
Yeah, and very good distribution. I know you mentioned it.
Very good distribution.
Was very nice. All right, let's go to right back. Ben White.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid. Made little runs, overlapping runs. Was very involved in the game. 7.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, I think Ben White had a steady game. I didn't really see too much from him. But let's go to William Saliba, who was up against Beto. That was a physical battle.
Yeah, and he won it easy. He won it easy. I mean, remember that time when Beto sort of was running through and Saliba just shepherded him and so he bodied him a bit and said, yo, bro, where you going, man?
That's true.
This ain't Doncaster. You know what I mean? Remember that game? When I saw Beto play against Doncaster, I was like, hey, this guy looks all right, man. And listen, he's still early in his career for Everton, so he might come good. But
Saliba,
trust me, Saliba today bossed it. 8.
Hey, very well deserved. He was sensational today. Let's go to Gabriel Magalhaes. I believe he got picked up a yellow card as well.
I thought he was superb as well. He must have a headache today from the amount of balls he had to head away because all they were doing, ball back to Pickford. Pickford would lump it up front, right? Hoping that, either Beto or Calvert-Lewin would get a flick on and Gabriel won every single header. He was excellent today. This is where he comes into his own sometimes in these sort of games because he is up for the physical battle. He's ready for the war. You know what I mean? And I thought he was superb today. Great performance by him. Glad to see him in the team. Didn't put a foot wrong. 8.
Yeah, I think you make a great point there. When it comes to physical battles, it feels like I said about pairing, let's
that pairing of him and Saliba, they're up for any physical battle. It's not like, I was watching that game today, honestly, and I was saying to myself, in my mind, I'm thinking, remember the days when we had guys like sort of Mustafi and even Koscielny sometimes, even though he was up for the physical, even though Koscielny was up for the physical battle, right? Sometimes he'd get a little bullied up in these games. But those two, they don't get bullied in these games because they're very physically big as well.
Yeah, and strong.
They're big, 2 very big guys. They're both very mobile. They're both good on the ball. And they both love that battle. Yeah. They play well.
Let's go to Zinchenko. 8. Let's go to Zinchenko, who orchestrated from that left-back position.
Superb today. Zinchenko, superb. Just the little balls he tries to play to break the lines. An absolutely important player when you're playing against teams like this that are camped out. And although he didn't really create an assist or anything like that, I just thought he was integral to how we played today. He was really, really good. I'm going to give him an 8 as well.
Yeah, good.
I liked Zinchenko today. Superb performance.
I'm glad you didn't rate him down because, in a low block, he was important today. Yeah. Let's go to who I think is a bit of an unsung hero, Declan Rice in the midfield.
That's another 8 for me. I was just saying to a gentleman over there who's come from Australia, and he's the first time he's watching Declan Rice live, and he was like, wow. He goes, you know what? He goes, I didn't realise how good he is. Declan Rice is a player that he's one of them players that I say, right, that you have to come into a game and watch. Yeah. TV does not do justice to a player like that. So you won't see the amount of times he breaks up play or, when a player's turning their away and Declan Rice just comes and just gets that ball. And then what I like about him, when he wins a ball, he doesn't just lump it. He distributes it nicely. He's such a good player. He's such a good signing. Going to be a very, very important player for us, especially in these type of games. Yeah. And again, not a player that's going to be bullied, not a player that's going to be intimidated by atmospheres or by players. And I think it's another 8 today. You know what I mean?
He deserves it. Yeah, he leads superb. As well. I know Martin, as our captain, he's a leader.
Yeah, exactly.
On and off the ball.
Qualities. He's telling people where to go. You know what I mean? If somebody makes a little error, he's like, yo, bro. Yeah. I mean, look after the ball better. Like Declan Rice today. very important in these type of games, really is.
All right, let's look forward. Let's look to who I just mentioned there, our captain, Martin Odegaard, for you today, Robbie.
Again, really, really good. Worked his socks off, worked hard, was trying to create openings. Listen, it's really difficult to shine in a game like this when, you know, they're so deep. They're so deep with absolutely everyone behind the ball. But he kept knocking on the door, you know what I mean? And he kept driving Arsenal forward. And I think I'll give him an 8 as well.
An 8 as well. A lot of 8s. Let's go to...
A lot of 8s.
Everyone's speaking about this player. Fabio Vieira today. Everyone's seen
I thought Fabio Vieira played really, really well. You know what I mean? And again, I said it in my interview, you know what I mean? Maybe he used to think, you know, last season that he shouldn't really... Well, not that he shouldn't be here. He knows he should be here, but he's probably thought to himself, I'm a bit scared to make a mistake. He's playing with a lot of confidence now, you can see. And he's assimilated into the team. And he's, you know, I was a little bit worried at the start of this game when I saw him starting, because I was thinking, is he going to be able to cope with the physicality of that midfield? But he did. He did. And, you know what I mean? He was putting crosses in. He was trying to create things, you know what I mean? Shooting could have been a bit better. But I liked his performance today, you know what I mean? I'm going to give him an 8 as well. He played well.
Is it a message to say, you know, give players time here at Arsenal? You might see them come out their shell? Or...
Yeah, so it's, you know what I mean? Havertz can watch that and say to himself, listen, you know, obviously we don't want players to take a whole season, but sometimes it does take certain players a season to settle in. I met, I think I said it last week, that I met a taxi driver the other day when I was in Porto, and he was saying to me, I mean, Fabio Vieira is from Porto, and he was saying both him and that Vitinho went to PSG were brilliant players at Porto, but he said he always knew that the physical aspect of the Premier League, he was going to suffer from that to start off with, but hopefully now we're seeing the best of Fabio Vieira.
Yeah, quality player today. Let's go to our right winger who had Milenko on absolute toast. Mikalenko,
Sorry,
pronunciations.
What did I give? I gave it 8 for 8.
Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, Saka today. You know, I mean, the referee's not protecting Saka. Let's get it right.
That's the truth.
How many times was Saka fouled today? How many times was he blocked off? How many? And
Mikalenko get a yellow card?
Mikalenko didn't get a yellow card, I don't think. No,
he didn't even get a yellow.
And then there was one block from Gabriel, the referee straight. You've got to be consistent in what you do. I didn't think they gave him any protection today, but you know, they were so worried about him. He'd get the ball, there'd be 4 players on it. You know what I mean? And he still was badding up and creating things. And I thought Saka was excellent today without creating much. But he created so much problems elsewhere that he helped to open up things, and he worked his socks off, you know what I mean, for the team, you know what I mean, 8. Yeah,
fair. Let's go to the opposite wing. Obviously, Sally had to come off, but Gabriel Martinelli.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can only give him a 5, even though he had the goal that was disallowed, which he took really well.
Very well.
But he had to come off in it so early, so we didn't really get...
It's 5. I mean, when he was on, when he was still effective.
Whilst he was on, you know what I mean, you'd have to give him a 7 because he was a threat.
Yeah.
But you know, he came off so early in the game, you have to give him a 6.
Okay, let's go to our...
Soapy's all right.
Let's go to our striker who pressed everything today, Eddie Nketiah.
Eddie, without really, you know, creating many problems, like with shots, but he worked hard, you know what I mean? He was doing all the ugly stuff, pressing and stuff like that. But I'll probably give him a 7.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Okay, let's rattle through some of the subs that come on. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus came on for Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah, Gabriel Jesus came on, worked hard. I mean, sort of came on towards the end of the game. But again, it did well, kept the ball. Yeah. You know what I mean? Run things down, you know what I mean? Run the channels, you know what I mean? That's what you need when you're trying to see out a 1-0. So I'll give him a 7 as well.
Okay, Kai Havertz?
And I'll give him a 7 because he came on as well and he did a lot of defensive work, you know what I mean, which was really, really important at that time. So he didn't really get a chance to get forward and do much, but...
Almost scored.
Almost, yeah, sort of. Yeah, that was a cross. I think that was a cross. But listen, he had a little impact in the game. Yeah. I think more defensively helping out. So he helped us see out the win. So 7.
Tomiyasu, Robbie.
And the same thing, you know what I mean? Just came on, made things solid after Zinchenko came on. So a 7 for him as well.
Okay, and then the player obviously that made the difference, Trossard.
I think Trossard my man of the match.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because to me, he's in a game like this, where you're playing against a team, low block FC, everybody's behind the ball, Sean Dyche ball, right? You see a lot of these games that end up being 0-0. You saw a game earlier on, Chelsea, they couldn't break down Bournemouth. You know, it's not easy, man, when teams have got everybody behind the ball, you know what I mean? And he was that difference. He was that bit of magic. He looked lively when he came on. He was trying to make runs in behind and comes off the bench and wins the game for us. That's my man on the match today. I'm going to give him a 9. You know what I mean? Well done to Trossard. You know what I mean? He's waited his time. You know what I mean? Because he had a great pre-season. A lot of people are saying, oh, should he start?
Yeah.
He hasn't. But I was always saying to people all along, there's loads of games coming up. Trossard will come in, and he's coming today, and he's done the business. So, well done to Trossard, and he's my man of the match today.
Let me give you a tough question. Sorry, I know it's a player and quickly. Is he an impact player? Is that what he is best at? Because when he starts, he let a lot of people look. Well, he let me down as a fan, but
I don't think he necessarily is an impact player. I think he's just a good all-round player. I think he
can start.
I think he can start and do the business, and I think he can impact games as well. So he's just a good, top quality player to bring off the bench, you know what I mean? And he's confident. He scored in the week for Belgium in the international break. He's a confident player. He's skillful, and he scores great goals, and he scores simple goals.
Yeah.
And he's a very, very good signing. I was watching Mudryk earlier on today for Chelsea before, when we parked in the car park, and I watched that Chelsea game. And Mudryk, I'm always starting to feel sorry for him, how bad he was, right? And then I look and I think, we didn't get Mudryk and we've got Trossard. And look what he's done since he's come. He's been excellent.
Yeah, great.
And he's won us a big 3 points today, 9.
Definitely. Let's go to quickly the referee today, actually.
I didn't like the referee today because I thought he was too inconsistent and he didn't protect Saka. You know what I mean? Referees have got, it wasn't that he was particularly, it's not like he's particularly bad in the game, but you've got to protect your flair players. Mikalenko, he allowed him 1. Then he allowed him 2. On the third one, you can say, right, come on. An accumulation of yellows now, man. But he didn't do that, which then means that players can continue to do it. So he didn't protect Saka today, and he's a little bit inconsistent in things that he give for them and not for us. So I'll probably give him a 6.
Yeah, fair. I think, protection. I mean, you just got to just make it fair. Just be fair and consistent.
Yeah, it's difficult when you're at an away ground. But I just think that he was a little bit inconsistent today.
Definitely. Okay, let's go to the manager today, Robbie. Got it right. Made the rotation subs.
Changed up the team because obviously Champions League as well is coming up. Got the selection right. Obviously you can't say you got the substitution right because obviously it's an injury. But brings on the player. We win 1-0. And the way I liked how we played today, we kept knocking on the door. We played with a lot more intensity. I remember last year we were poor, really, really poor. And if you remember, that was the one. Remember in the All or Nothing documentary, we absolutely ripped into the team at the end of the game. But today, I think you'd be happy with the performance. The team played really, really well today. Deserved the win. I don't think any Everton fan you'd speak to today would say anything but Arsenal deserve 3 points, unless you're Ashley Young.
Yeah. Finally, Mikel got it over his old club. Finally got the win at the place. All right, and then lastly, the fans.
Brilliant today.
Songs are great
Brilliant.
Today.
I mean, I didn't really hear. The Everton fans were very quiet today. And they're not normally, to be fair. But I thought the Arsenal fans were brilliant today. They've got to get a 10 out of 10, up here in their numbers as they always are, rammed out the away end, and in great voice from start to finish, right behind the team, man. And the team felt the love, man.
Yeah, they did.
Odegaard with his song ringing out all game. They felt the love, but we need a song for Declan Rice.
Yeah, we do.
We need a song for Rice.
Not my one, no. Rice.
No.
Yeah, definitely not mine.
Fans today get a 10.
Listen, let us know your player ratings on AFTV Plus app. Thank you very much for watching. We're back in the next game, the Champions League. We're back.
Champions League and then the North London derby. This is why we love football. This is why we love Arsenal. This is what we wanted, man. We want these big games, you know what I mean? Away to Everton, get a victory. Champions League, we're back. And then them lot down the road next week. Looking forward to this week.
See you then.